Hello and welcome to Zelda Speedruns. I hope you're excited because I am. Today we have a wonderful match of a Zelda 2 randomizer, um, Par Paratroopa versus Xarnax, if I'm right. Um, on commentary today we have Mirai, and tracking we have VT Slacker. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good, Crystal. Thanks. Yeah, doing great. Dude, this is Crystal's first Z2R race. So
Yeah.
good luck. Good luck to her.
Good luck trying runs because this is my first ZTR, so hopefully it's good because it's gonna be great.
We hope it's good as well here. This is game one of a best of three series here. All of our brackets races that we've started. This is actually the first race of our quarterfinals here, moving in to the final 8. So game one of our best of three series between these two. They did meet up in Swiss in week 4. And Xarnax did take that race. Now, I believe I'm quoting Para correctly at the end of the post-race interview for that race, that Para said that was okay. She expected that she would lose that. Xarnax, she feels that is a better runner than herself. However, looking over at the points in the tournament category here, Para is actually rated higher than Xarnax. I would say this is going to be a pretty good race, all things considered. Para did just eliminate the defending champion in the previous round. Animus United, unfortunately, knocked out of the tournament in the previous round. So the title belt is up for grabs, and it's going to be one of these 8 runners who are left. It's going to be their belt to take. However, the countdown has begun and we'll be off here shortly. Xarnax was having a little bit of a technical difficulty unplugging his capture card a moment ago, but he's back and he's got some weirdness going on, and here we go. We're readying up in the traditional fashion on Xarnax's side. Para is going to be running the Simon Belmont sprite there, as we see Xarnax going to have the Zelda sprite. We are off. We're going to see what biome we've got the moment we walk out of this here. Okay. This could be a few different things right off the bat. Could be vanilla-like, could be caldera. We'll have to see. We see P1 right there next to start. We've got Pillar P-Bag Cave right next to start as well, as Xarnax not wanting to walk back through that swamp. Just going to simply start over and probably hit the cave just like Para is. Don't blame him. Swamp is terrible. Although he walks through it again on his way into the cave. Dyra's worth 150. That's going to be our max roll for Dyra's today, at least the orange variety. We'll see what we've got here in a moment. It's going to be a heart in Pillar P-Bag Cave. It'll help us kind of get started. It's not going to be progression, though. Para going to be the first out of North Palace to check the second cave. Another palace here in the south side. So we've got P1 and P3 or 6. We have no idea from the outside of it here. This is going to be an item cave. It's going to be a continent connector over to the east immediately. Lava field. We've got Naburu. Wow, we're moving quick here, folks. I didn't see what spell it was. I think Para just simply walks past the town name. Xarnax going to be seeing it here. Horsehead with the candle today. Vanilla P1 candle. Xarnax also walking by the town sign there. This is just a free spell, so both of our runners just going to simply grab it at this point. They're not going to be picky. Even if it's the life spell, some runners will pass up the life spell, but both of these runners probably... It's so early in the game, 90 seconds into the game here. We will simply take whatever spell we can get our hands on. Unlikely to be castable, though, unless it's something like Shield or Jump. Well, it happens to be Thunder, a required spell today. Not going to be castable necessarily. I think it might have been 96 on Parasite, could have been 69. Not sure. We up and ate very quickly there. We'll see it on Xarnax's side, maybe. 65. Okay, so not technically castable, but 1 point off. There is an item cave or another continent connector just south of where we walk into the east. Xarnax going to walk out of the town here. Life in Meadow. We did see a easterly facing cave just south of where we walked into the east. So Spelltown and Rudo as well. Life in Meadow, Spell and Rudo. That's a caldera right there. Okay. Xarnax going to walk into this, and it is going to be Sunken P-Bag Cave. Doesn't want... Oh, he does want it. This could be very sketchy, though. 1, 2, 2. Anything that hits him in here could be a one-shot. Oh, not an Octorok, though. If we run into a Lizalfo, this could be trouble. We've got, looks like, Parappa or Fairy Cave here in reverse. Fairy Cave in reverse to get into the Caldera. Not sure if we had any other options. Something like the northeast section of our lower half might still be unexplored. Okay, we do have a Lizalfo. It's going to be the red variety here. Thankfully, it is vulnerable. We could just jump it, though. Xarnax is skilled enough to do that. 200 points, max roll on the red Lizalfo's hammer pickup in Sunken P-Bag Cave. We'll see if that's going to be useful today. May or may not. We have yet to see. We might have some boulder-blocked caves on the west. We might have a spec rock that we need to check, so hammer could come into play at those points. Otherwise, it'll be useless. I guess not entirely useless. You can use it after the race is over to build your house or something to retire in. I'm not sure. Keys in the drop pool on Para's side could be useful there. We might see an early dig of P1. We're about to see the third palace on the west here, right after this ferry. Water tile looks like a volcano. Blue Lizalfos here. What do we got? How much are they worth? We've got P4 in the caldera. $100. That's pretty bad. That's the lowest roll we've got on those guys there. Para going to see either the reverse jump or reverse. That's going to be Paratroopa. Okay, so jump cave going to be useless today. It was a forest tile. That is right. We do have a hammer in play for that. That's going to be New Kasuto. So we've got a water tile and a forest tile. So that is something else that kind of slipped my mind there. We don't have a hammer block going north. This could be jump cave right here. It is not. It's medicine cave on Para's side. This could be another item cave right there for Xarnax. He's going to check New Kasuto first. We've got a red diver here in Medicine Cave. Fairy Town in New Kasuto. Para getting the hell out of Dodge at this point in time. Almost takes a death. 6 containers to get into the basement in New Kasuto there. Death Mountain as well, right next to Medicine Cave. All right, we're not going to look around in there. It is a vanilla-like Death Mountain today. Easy to traverse. P-bag on the desert tile, $100. We've got, what are we missing? We're missing Magic Container Cave, Trophy Cave, Heart Container Cave. There's Jump Cave. We could kill that Dyra. It's worth 150. Is Para going to go back in? Nope. All right, there's Fairy pickup for Xarnax. Going to skip the town sign in Raru for Para. It is 73 to cast Fairy. We can't cast it just yet. That is 64 magic we only have total, and that is magic 3, so... Yeah, no spell, and so we got spell in Rudo. So we'll see if we need to get spell to get spell tower access. Can't do any of that right now. Xarnax not going to check this cave he's right next to. He may have just deemed it to be an item cave. He's going to walk through this swamp though. Kind of dangerous. Totally missed whatever spell that Para picked up there. There's Xarnax's key. The kid knows nothing. We got fire in Raru, thank you. Fire is going to be a spell that is combined with one of the other 7 spells in the game. Desert tile here for Xarnax as well. About to see that. Saria, we're walking in. Shield Town, missed the desert tile pickup as I was trying to read the sign. I'm watching the tracker to see if anything lights up. I'm not sure what was there. Magic Container, got it. All right, so we do have a castable fairy now, technically speaking. Moa's in the graveyard encounters. Could be certain death here for Xarnax. Might just fairy out. Oh, he's just going to up an A. Not a bad move. But we do have that cave that was right next to New Kasuto that kind of bothers me. We didn't check that. Could have been Risen. Could have been Risen P-Bag Cave. That would have been actually every overworld check on the east right there at that point in time. So Xarnax going to see some towns that Para didn't see here. One of these is going to be Mito. That's right. Yeah, Mito. Oh, sorry. Para did see these, but he's going to have Fairy to be able to get downstep. So he'll be first to downstep. All right. So Para. Okay, this is Magic Container Cave, and I think after this, oh, we're missing Trophy and Heart Container Cave. That's right. I think we have a Mew there. We saw a bouncy cat. Is it what's trolling us? It's hard to tell. When we've got dark caves, where you're obviously looking for, the runners can see the feet of all of the enemies. All the enemies have a certain pattern to them and the way that they move in the dark. And so it's kind of hard to see that on stream if you don't catch what was there. I did see a bouncy cat, but not sure if we took care of that or not. Could have been a little Mew on the floor. Just a red jar in Magic Container Cave. Nothing too important there. East to find the medicine. I believe that was Life. Life in Mito. We do have downstab on Xarnax's side, though. Yep, we get the double check there. There's Grass Tile. Okay. And there's where Jump Cave leads us. We've got a bridge up at the top as well. Could be maze access. Likely going to be maze access, but could lead us back to DM. That's going to be Fire Spell today. That will get us Spell Tower access. Where's this going? It's going to the maze. Okay. We'll see what Xarnax chooses to do here shortly. We do have P1 right next to start. We've got a castable fairy. We'll see if he wants to invest a little bit more into magic. Bring that fairy down. We do know what's in P1, so we're not really concerned about the item. However, it is right next to start, so you might just leave it behind because it is a free gem to place later for that free level. So, you know, that's the thing you could do as well. P3 or 6 is a little bit west of start. Could try that as well. Trophy on maze. Okay. Xarnax going to opt not to go through that cave just yet. I think he might come into this palace. Nope, he's going to check the south just to make sure he hasn't left anything behind. And another magic container here for Para. So we've got 2 out in the wild. Xarnax hoping not to lose too much magic here to these bubbles. He does have that castable fairy. It's 73 out of his 80 magic. I think Para's missing just 1 cave. It's going to be Trophy Cave. Yeah, here it is. I think we just picked up a key there on Xarnax's side. We can downstab over the Doom Knocker. 500 point P-Bag on Para's side. Item room here for Xarnax in this 3/6. We have not seen a window yet, so we don't know where we're at. And we don't have a hint for 3 or 6. Xarnax trying to hug the Doom Knocker. Glove in Trophy Cave. Wow. Okay, so Xarnax a little rewarded, has a little bit of a reward for going east and getting the fairy spell, as well as getting 1 magic container, giving him that castable fairy spell. And staying west rewards you as well with the glove and another magic container, I guess. Xarnax trying to get, he could just peek on the top to see what it is. This might just actually be garbage. It is the raft. Okay, well, the raft probably not going to be too useful today. My guess is the raft, well, okay. Let me retract that statement. The raft could actually take us to the west side of the eastern continent. We have yet to see where it goes. We did see it on the maze, but it could just take us back to Death Mountain or something like that. All right, so we burned through a Thundercaster. Another 500 point P-Bag. Glove required in this 3 or 6. Again, we don't know where we're at. We don't know what palace that is until we see a boss or a window, or if we had a hint for the item, something like Rebanak rides with the raft or something like that. We don't have that today, so we are clueless as to what is in, what palace that is exactly. Heart and Medicine Cave there. And Para's going to be done with the west. We'll see. There's no palaces on the top side here. There's no up and aying. I think we're going to go back to the maze for Para here. Was it Xarnax that showed us the hint for trophy, or did Para just find the trophy on the maze? Okay, we saw the hint. We haven't found the item yet. Gotcha. Yeah, so Xarnax is about to see P4 here in the Caldera. I don't know if Para is down a life at this point. Xarnax getting 200 for the red Iron Knuckles there in the 346 Palace pool. I believe he's at 233 if I'm not mistaken, and Para at 344 has 7 hearts. That's very beefy for just 12 minutes in. 2 orange Lizalfos. That's delicious. $100 each. $500 point bag, though. And watch out for the Sky Lever, because you're just going to keep getting trucked if that thing keeps hitting you. All right, so 3, 4, 5 on Para's side there. A lot of P-Bags. A lot of P-Bags. She's been picking up a lot of P-Bags here. Xarnax going to be slated for those as well here shortly. We are running with what's considered, or what is actually called specifically in the flags in the randomizer called standardized drops, where The drop pool is static, and the amount of kills between each enemy pool on when a drop appears, all of that is static, and so all of our runners are going to see the same denominations of P bags, the same if there's keys or one-ups in the drop pool, they're going to see them at the same point in time, depending on the amount of enemies they've killed. Wow, another sky lever there. Luckily, that won't follow us up to the top side. There's a P bag for Xarnax, probably going to be $500. $500 it is. Orange Those Alphas might be invulnerable there. We did see the kill from Thunder earlier, but I don't think Para checked to see if they were vulnerable before that. So we haven't found a drop yet on the maze for Para, if I'm not mistaken. I'll have to see the palace here as well. Could be, it really could be anything. It is going to be GP in a nice green today. And up an A to get our resources back. Xarnax walking into Death Mountain there. He's got the hammer. Does he gamble on Spec Rock? It is a completely, well, I say completely, but essentially free Death Mountain, given that it is a vanilla-like and there aren't any encounters really to, encounter. Heart Container Cave here for Xarnax. Yeah, he's going to be clearing out the west here. There's going to be no real blocks that he can't handle. He's obviously got downstab. That is a benefit that Para does not currently have. So he's going to any trouble that Para might have had here probably going to be made a little bit easier due to that downstab. Interesting. Xarnax is buffering apparently. He's good on my dashboard, but not sure. Does just have to be WZ2R radio for a moment. There's the trophy pickup for Para, and Xarnax is in Trophy Cave. He's got the key drop there. Is he going to get it? He's going to get it. And he's going to walk it over. See the glove here in just a moment. Going to be happy he's got that. He's already seen a glove block himself. All right, Xarnax has returned. And a P bag. So at least it's a 500-point P bag. And Para's back to start. And I think we've got the grass tile and one more cave. Yeah, magic container cave for Xarnax as well. And then he will be done with the west as well. He'll probably be to the maze. Para about to get what was in here? Was it a magic container in it was the hammer. It was the hammer in Sunken. So she'll have access to Nukasudo as well. That'll be fairy for Para in. Oh, we up an A though. Oh, that was a fast up an A. Okay, where are we headed? Are we going to DM? Are we? That was quick. Oh, I see. That's how close it is. See, this is why big brain on Para here with the up and A. I did not think of that. That was very nice. A very quick little return to start and hit the cave. It's that close to North Palace. Yeah, we're not really missing anything at this point. I mean, it could be Reflectin' Darunia. We haven't seen Old Kasudo yet. So it could be Reflectin' Darunia. And if that's the case, we're going to need the child. But, I mean, we get the item hint and then we just go find it. So we're pretty much ready to go already sub 17 into this game. Fire is actually spelled today. Para did a check on it a little bit earlier. It was castable at, Fire was castable at Magic 3, and she turned something into a Mew. Yeah, so it could be Spell Tower. Maybe Child is in Spell Tower. 6 containers as well to get into the basement. So whenever Para sees that, Para will have full access to Nukasudo. Xarnax going to be getting shield out of Saria. I want to see a check here into that cave. I feel both runners are attacking me directly by not going into that cave and showing me what that is, whether that's a pass-through or Risen P-Bag Cave. All right, Para going to show us what's in the basement here. The magic key. Okay. Okay, easy game. If the spell tower is the child, we are just ready to go at this point. Sub 20, we would be in absolute go mode. Well, oh, the raft does go to the west side of the east. Okay, kind of a nice shortcut there. We could actually still have a segmented volcano, or a cut-off volcano here. We could have a segmented east. We haven't gone through the volcano to see exactly if it passes through correctly. It doesn't have to, especially with the raft tile taking us to this side here. So that's probably Risen P-Bag Cave facing north right there. And here's our last palace in the outside. It is going to be P2. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. Did we actually see another palace on the other side of the east? Maybe we didn't. We're going into P2 on Xarnax's side. There we got 2 lefts to start. We're going to see Spell Tower here for Para. It is the medicine. Okay. So that is going to be Life Spell if we want it. Para might pick that up because Para still needs to get downstab. So unless I totally missed her going into Mito, I don't think she has downstab just yet. So if she has to revisit Mito to get downstab, then, yeah, no downstab there. And we might just pick up life on the way through. So let's see what Para's next move is here. Yeah, I don't know how long Fairy's going to stay expensive. I don't know what it is to cast at Magic 4, so... As long as Xarnax gets 2 casts of it, he'll be okay. 1 cast is a little restrictive. Although 1-ups are in the drop pool for large palace enemies here. Alright, we have an elevator up in Xarnax's room here. We'll see if that's a junction or a boss or an item. Para's still looking around a little bit here. I think we're going back to Mito for Para here. I'm going to say Darunia is jump. I guess Old Kasudo could be jump. It's going to be reflect and jump between Old Kasudo and Darunia. We try to thunder the blue guy. He's worth 200 today, not bad. We don't know the item in 2, and we don't know if we're going to need it. I'm not entirely sure if we've seen both the palaces on the east. So Xarnax didn't show us the southern half, the southern side of the western half of our eastern continent. So I don't know if there might be a 3-eyed rock hiding down there. We might still need a flute. All right, anything at the top of this elevator? All right, one more. Oh, you're not going to check to the top? Okay, we're checking for magic. Para is going to be grabbing the life spell here. Dead end for Xarnax. And an up and A out of Mito. Top of the elevator was Helmet Head's room. Injured as always. Attack 4, though. Going to be pretty easy fight. Very, very easy fight here. And Para going into P1. Xarnax going to take Magic 5 and get that. Is that 15? I thought it was 1670 for Life 6. I didn't see what Attack 5 was, though. Is Attack 5 1550 or is that going to be Magic 6? Or am I just crazy? Guess we're about to find out here in a moment. 700 more experience. He gets it from the gem, though, of course. It is going to be Attack 5. Okay. Wow, Attack 5 before Life 6. All right, jump or reflect here. What's it going to be? We're just going to grab it. We probably want either one of these. Okay, free reflect. Let's go. Child blocking jump today. We might look for the hint on that one just to see if we want to find it at some point. Xarnax also opting not to dig the item out of 2. I don't blame him. There's really nothing out there that he's going to need necessarily. I'd love to see a second palace in the open here in the east, though, before I commit to that statement, just in case we do need a flute or don't need a flute. I thought Xarnax was going to walk out after getting the refill, but he is going to go get upstab at a minimum here. Horsehead pass-through room in P1, which also has Horsehead in it. 500-point bags. That's nice. That's why Xarnax had so much experience from killing Helmet Head. We get 500-point bags from bosses. Kind of nice now. Not too nice later. Pretty useless later. All right, we found Horsehead. We're going to see where this child is at. Oh, he's in P2. Okay, he's just next door visiting. All right, no problem. I'm not sure if we're going to go back in for that, but it is an option. This is going to be Risen. It is going to be Risen. Okay. All right, so Para, first gem on the board there, 24 minutes. Just a minute or two after Xarnax. We do know that the candle is in P1. Neither one of our runners is going to care too much for that. There's our 8th heart container in the seed. Okay. Easy game. Para's going to be the first to show us which palace this is here. We did have a glove block without being able to identify the palace. So that was Xarnax who was in here without the glove earlier. Now we've got the glove on Para's side. We got the glove on both of our runner sides, but Para going to be in here and be able to push through the glove block before Xarnax can. Oh, we have a coconut in the way there. Okay. We do have a Moa as well. Wow. We could cast shield. All right, Para with the raft. It's going to be useful. She doesn't know it yet, though. We do have a 3-eyed rock. Okay. Okay. Now, Xarnax looking around here, and we've seen both the item caves. We know our way to DM, where simply the caves are going to do nothing. Oh my god, this is a terrible room as well on Para's side. Wow. Glove block keeps you out of here, and for good reason. This is a spell, this is a cast fire room right here. Our runners have it, and it is castable, so. And also, oh, that was actually, we didn't have enough momentum. We didn't have enough momentum to make that jump there. So I'm just going to just try to, oh, the bat from the ceiling comes down. He upstabs it. Oh my god, it's Para. Para, once again, kind of getting trolled. I mean, in her defense on that second attempt, that Mowhead, the wolf head, was right in her face. It's a fairy out of there. Please, fairy. Oh, she recovered. How did that happen? That was lava bath written all over it there. Man, Thunder, you get one cast of it. Really, that fire spell would have been the better option there, I think. I didn't see how much fire was, but it's got to be, you got to get at least 2 casts out of it, I'd say, at Magic 5, since it was castable at Magic 3. It comes down very, very low at later Magic levels. There's the item room for Xarnax. I didn't catch what palace this was. Is this palace? It's 6, okay. Or, I'm sorry, I say it's 6, but it's never mind. It's the opposite of whichever one that Para's in. Now, Para's already lost 2 lives in this palace, so if this is 6 and this is long, we might see a game over for Para and have to try again. Now, this is unfortunately an item, a dead end room with nothing in it. Whenever you see those falling blocks in this particular dead end room, there's not going to be any small item at the end of it. Yeah, we haven't seen a window or anything on either one of our palaces here. They're the opposite. They're sister palaces, if you will. And we don't know which one is which. Para at 2 bars of health. Could be final life. And there's a blue iron knuckle. This could be bad. Nice turnaround. Tink, tink, tink. Oh, man. Very nice blocking from Para there. Here's the boss. Okay, so Para's in 6. And this is P3 for Xarnax in Death Valley. And there's Barba. Okay, so as long as Para doesn't mess this up, should be good. Although it doesn't look too bad to get back here other than that terrible room you have to pass through. We'll see if attack 4 is doing good, although Barba looked pretty injured already. This is a very fast steed here that we've got going on. 2 gems, sub 30 for both of our runners, assuming Para doesn't have any trouble here. 1 bar left on Barba. And there it is. Okay. Do we get a big payout? We don't get a big payout. That's not enough to get a double level here on Barba, unfortunately. The 500 point P bag, 300 for Barba, only 800, pushing us to 1125, not the 1550 we would have wanted. So now the question is, where is this flute? We don't have a hint. Neither one of our runners know where this flute is at. And on top of that, Xarnax is the only one with the information that we do need a flute. So could it be that it's buried in DM? Could it be that it's on the water tile and we're going to need boots? I don't know. From Xarnax's perspective, he still has New Kasuto to look through, which we know isn't the answer, but he probably won't scoff at the idea of having a magic key in his pocket. Oh, he has not found the 2 items on the maze yet, so that's right. He kind of looked around here. He had the raft, checked the raft, and it took him to the west side of the east. Tries to get the dodge on the mace. Unfortunately, not enough twisty turny there in the air. All right, so there's that. So he's got the hint that the other item is a trophy. Does he remember that? He doesn't have it marked on his tracker, so he might just keep looking. I think it's right around the corner anyway. Yeah, here it is. So he's not going to be punished necessarily. He is going to want to know what palace is here, though. That's going to show him that it's GP, meaning that what? We've got P5. P5 is under 3-Eyed Rock then, if I'm not mistaken. We've got 1, 6, 1, 4, 6 on the west, 2, 3, 5 on the east. Yes, and GP on the maze. If he goes back to P2 for the child, that will net him jump. Para with the game over there. Luckily, it's a very quick jog back here. Yeah, we do have at least 2. We have 2 fairy casts. It's 34 at Magic 5, so. And the volcano does pass through. All right, so Xarnax has full information on all of the palaces at this point. And the fact that he's going to need this flute. So where do we start looking? We've got the hammer. We've got a pretty free DM. We didn't see the item in 3, did we? Oh, we did. It was the raft. The raft is in 3. What do we have on the table? We've got child in 2, candle in 1, raft in 3. So we've got P4, P5, P6 out there and available. We've got water tile, and we have DM. Both checks in DM. So, oh, I'm sorry. Raft was in 6. That's right. We don't know what was in 3. And Xarnax walking to the 4s tile and then just up benaying. I'm not entirely sure what happened there. Oh, I don't think Xarnax knows that fire is spell. And so he's going to Rudo to turn in that trophy to get the spell directly. That's what that is. He wants to full clear New Kasuto. He doesn't want to screw around and have to triple dip the place. Although he essentially walked to it, he'll have to walk to it 3 times at a minimum now. Yeah, I'm not sure what Xarnax concluded fire was. There's the item room here in 3. Xarnax didn't check this. If this is the flute, this is pretty big. Okay, just a bag. Xarnax doesn't know that, though, so it's still one of those unknowns that's on his list. I mean, what do we got out there? We've got boots, flute, cross in unknown positions. And again, we have 5 checks that we don't know. We don't have a hint for any of those items, if I'm not mistaken. And we have 5 locations outstanding. And I guess that's our 3 items and our 2 magic containers, right? So that's going to be all 5 items accounted for. All right, Xarnax about to pick up the magic key here. Not that big of a deal, but a nice pickup for sure. He's also going to get the medicine out of the spell tower here in just a moment. Para looking around for Rebanak at this point. Unfortunately, in a dead end, having to walk out. I don't know. Xarnax seemed to kind of god route his way to Rebanak, so P3 not a very big palace, though, regardless. It won't take Para too much time to find the horseman. All right, so this is hard to say. Like, I think Xarnax has more information here to operate off of. Para's going to have the gem lead, but Xarnax knows a little bit more because of being to the other, to already have been to the other side of the Eastern continent. And Para's going to be there after doing this 3, but the answer still lies somewhere else. It's going to be 4, 5, 6, or 4, 5. I'm sorry. Yeah, at this point, I misspoke earlier. So 4, 5, and then D. Wait, what else do we have? Oh, water tile, right. 4, 5, DM, and water tile. One of those first 4 checks is going to be the boots to get us access to the water tile. That accounts for the 5 items we have. Yeah, Reflect was for free in Old Kasuto today, which was right next to Darunia. It was a 50-50. We didn't know at the time whether it was going to be Child Reflect or Reflect for free. I think Para's about to walk into Rebo's room here. Yep. So Xarnax going to go into 4. Okay, this is a big question mark here on what's in 4. I missed whether we had a left there at start or any other junction there, but we go down and right to begin. Well, Para almost about to take a... Oof. Oh, this is close. There it is, the death. These, like at this stage of the tournament, right, we're in the quarterfinals, and every runner here, very good, right? The window to make mistakes starts to add up. Little deaths, the additional damage you take in rooms. You as a runner have no idea what the palace layout is, so you really can't fault anyone for taking a left versus taking a right and all of that. But when it comes to combat and it comes to tracking the overworld and kind of routing it better than your opponent, given the information that you have, these are the little time saves that you have that really can add up in the end. And we can see some really close races here between runners here in now our final 8. And so we're seeing some, I'm just calling this out simply because that death on Rebo, the extra dead end check on Para's side, not realizing that room was a dead end. And so all of that, right? If that continues to happen over the course of a full run, any runner is going to see several extra minutes added to their total time at the very end of it all. So, and both of these runners know that. Everyone is familiar with that, obviously you're taking deaths, you're taking hits from enemies, you're checking dead ends. Everyone here knows. They're very familiar with the game, and they know that this is costing them time. Xarnax looking like he's going to try to double level here. I don't know what we're dripping. Doom Knockers are dripping. I don't know what they're worth. Is that Para picking up the Reflect spell? Yes, it is. Okay. I think we're going to look for an item first, possibly. We're not thundering this room. There's a lot of... they're only worth 50, so that's not really worth the grind on those dripper enemies. 100 for the orange Iron Knuckles and 50 for the Doom Knockers. Terrible. Wow, look at this. This WizCon here. It's like vanilla P6, kind of. So Para is this P2 that Para walked into? This must be P2. This is just outside of Old Kasuto. So yeah. We'll see if Para looks for the item, which is, again, going to be the child. She doesn't... I don't think we did the check in Darunia just yet. 200 for the Wizards. I will take that any day of the week. I think that might be max roll in this flag set. We kill them so infrequently, I don't actually know what their max roll ends up being. It's probably correct, though. All right, Xarnax going to walk it back to Karak's room here, place the gem. He's going to have his third gem down here, sub 40, matching Para's third gem. Although we've got 1, 3, and 6 on Para's side, we've got 2, 3, and 4 on Xarnax's side. So we've done some different stuff. Now, in my opinion, what Xarnax needs to do is hang out here and find the item. He's going to walk it out, though. He knows he needs a flute. Oh, he's coming back. It's a fake out. That's a fake out right there. He's like, I know Mariah's watching. I'm going to walk it out, and then I'm going to come back. And then I'm going to totally fake him out again. You know what, Xarnax? Forget it. I'm done trying to read what that man is doing. He might be going to DM. I don't know. There's nothing in the north here, right? There's nothing in the north unless he wants to go back to the east for some reason. I think he's done with the east because he'd hit the east from the raft tile. So I think he's going DM. Yeah, oh, no, okay. Well, we're in, we're out. Listen, Xarnax, in or out, my man. It is not cheap to air condition these areas. All right, we're looking for Hammer Cave. We're looking for the rock. The rock is going to be a quick and easy check. That's 4 gems for Para. There's the rock on Xarnax's side. Cannot walk around there. We don't have the boots anyway. So 4 gems for Para. 4 and 5. These are our unknowns. Para has not seen 3-eyed rock yet, although she's about to. And then I wonder if we're going to go back in 2. Although we might go into Darunia first to get the child hint. Boots under the rock. That opens up the water tile. Oh, this also opens up this. This is probably part of a 4-way here. No, it's not. It's not a 4-way, but it is just a regular cave. I would probably just walk it down the coast, honestly, to see what else is there. Any caves that are sticking out that look a little odd are the ones we're going to want to be checking here. If we're going to stick around Death Mountain, we're probably looking for Hammer Cave. Yeah, we can. He's stopping to look at the caves to see if he can kind of count the caves that are facing one another. Our caves do connect linearly outside of 2 of the 4-way. What do we call those? Elevator network caves. That one of them's kind of screwed up. It'll be fixed at some point. But otherwise, our caves are pointing in the direction that they go. So if you see a cave that's pointing in a direction that doesn't have another cave that looks like it attaches to it, then you want to check that cave out sooner than later. It might be the cave you're looking for. Although when you see a bunch of caves like this, which one is which? Well, sometimes you want to just start sticking your head into these. All right, Para getting I believe the 8th container, 8th heart container out of Risen there, seeing 3-eyed rock, thinking, oh boy, I need the flute. Great. I think Xarnax just going to start checking these caves here, see if we can find Hammer Cave. Para getting our resources back at P2. Did not go into Darunia? Am I mistaken on that? That Para did not go back into Darunia? Or did not go into Darunia really at all? I know Para is an upstab user, so... Yeah, this Hammer Cave kind of eluding us here. Is this it? That's the way back to the west. Oh, so he's going to spend a little bit of time, but then give up on Hammer Cave. Okay. Oh, Xarnax is missing Magic Container Cave still. That's on his tracker as not being tracked, so... No! He has seen that. That was just a red jar. He might have not tracked that. All right, are we going to go for a water tile check? I think we're going water tile at this point. So if this is the flute, this is pretty big. If it's not, then we're whittling down the areas where the flute's going to be. Para walking into 4. We'll see if Para wants to dig out the item in 4. What do we got on the water tiles, Xarnax? Okay, not the answer. 4, 5, and Hammer Cave. One of those is our flute. Xarnax is going to go back into 6. We already have the raft out of here. He knows he just needs to do it. He needs to find the dragon and get through here. Oh, this is the item room in 4. Did we pass through here on Xarnax's side? Because this is the same type of pass-through room that we saw in 6. It is the flute in 4. That's pretty big. Xarnax opted not to dig the item out of 4. And that is potentially going to cost him here. Unless he can just go back in there and take a gamble. He hasn't had the opportunity to go through this terrible room that's glove blocked here coming up. We'll see if he breaks out the fire strats, though. Wow, that was very close. He almost took a dip there. Nope, no fire strats from her. Oh, there it is. Just going to take the death, okay. Wow, just, oh, you can ferry through the hole. There it is. All right, he gets it. Wow, that was almost pretty bad. I'm not sure where Karak was for Xarnax. He found Karak pretty quick, and then he was out of here. Oh, actually, this is the room that we walked into on Xarnax's side here. So technically, Para going the right direction. I mean, what I mean by that is that after Xarnax got the bag and killed Karak, he did come back out in this direction, went through this bridge, checked what I was calling the WizCon room over there. The Para was just in. And Karak is going to be at the bottom of this elevator. Spell will turn... I don't know if they're going to be turned into Muse in palaces. They're turned into Muse in the outside world, though, at least. I don't know if the enemy ID matches up in palaces for outside. I know there are Muse inside palaces and outside of palaces, but I don't know if they use the same enemy ID between the two. And that's going to be 5th gem down for Para here. Flying. As we walk into Barba's room, going to be 4th gem down for Xarnax. Going to see potentially jumpless Jackhammer here. All eyes on Xarnax. Mr. Showman himself. Here we go. Oh, no. Is he going to try it again with just 1 life left? He's going to reset the room to force Barba to spawn on the right. Although, if I'm not mistaken, even after you die, when you respawn, you could still just hold right and force the right pit. So he's going to try it again here. Oh, there it is. A bold move that pays off. A very quick Barba kill there. He's still going to do P1, which is right next to start. We know P1 is not too bad. P5 under Three-Eyed Rock, and Para has the flute here. So I don't know when Xarnax is going to go back to P4. Again, he's got 3 spots available. He's got P4. I guess P5 can't be a spot, right, for the flute. So P4, yeah, I was obviously calculating that one incorrectly earlier. P4 and Hammer Cave are 50-50s for him and the flute. item room immediately in P1 there. That's where item was. That's probably why neither one of our runners picked it up. It is just a candle today. We do have a hint for the candle. And here's Mutant Horsehead. Just a pass-through boss room. Not really much of a challenge. Rebo, usually much more of a challenge as a pass-through boss. I don't think Horsehead is too deep into P1 here with that item room very early on. I'm not sure if you even had a junction in P1 here for Xarnax, but we've got some options for Para here. Oh, here's the pass-through in P1, that's right. Well, if Para can route this well, and again, it would just simply be by guessing. If Para can route this well, this will be great for her. If she gets kind of stuck in P5, it's possible. Never mind. Here is Guma. We've got kind of magenta on magenta paint job and curtains today. As we walk into Horsehead's room as well. Well, 50-50 for Xarnax. I really kind of wish he would have found Hammer Cave, because at that point he would have known that it is absolutely P4 that he needs to dig the flute out of. So right now he doesn't have that information. Is he going to go back there first before Hammer Cave? Not sure. He's walking around in the swamp here. Six, 7 for both of our runners here. Para going to be headed back to the mains here shortly. The raft tile is the raft is going to take her there. I'm just going to simply walk right to GP. We'll be in GP very, very soon. 52 minutes, maybe, at most. This was an ultra jet seed here, given the fact that we had a caldera and a volcano between our western and eastern biomes. Yeah, Xarnax taking the gamble on 4 earlier after knowing we needed the flute for 3-odd rock. He was the first one with that information. That was quite the gamble, and it was a gamble that didn't pay off. So he's going to see P4 first in this route. Is he going to stop there first, or is he going to keep walking for Hammer Cave? I think he's walking to Hammer Cave. Okay. It's going to cost him some time. We don't even know where Hammer Cave is at right now. And it will be the 8th magic container as far as we know. Or I guess it could be the cross, because the 8th magic container could be in 5. Actually, I don't know where we're going on Xarnax's side. I think he's going to find Magic Container Cave again, because he doesn't have it marked off, and it was just a jar. It was just a red jar, so there was nothing to mark off, and he's going to find it. I think he's going to find it right there, just south of where he's at. Para walks in 52.05 on my timer on the dashboard. Barrier up. Incredibly fast time to walk into GP here. Yeah, so while both of our runners are using a tracker, unfortunately, I think this is coming back to haunt Xarnax, that he had already seen this cave. We do have a junction here. We've got a reverse, a standard paperclip. Some birds in here. Para falls to the ground, unfortunately. There is a false floor there. Elevator side, right before the pillar. All right, so Xarnax going back to DM, or is he going back to 4? He's walking away from both right now. It is a dead end for Para here. This is a landing room. So we do only have one way to go in GP right off the bat. We're going back to DM for Xarnax. This right here could very easily cost him the game, unless GP is incredibly difficult. I mean, Para is well equipped to handle this Great Palace, so I can't imagine there's going to be any, Para's in, she's got the lead very much so right now. And we walk into Thunderbird's room. Well, we didn't have anywhere else to go, to be fair, so. Yeah, Xarnax had checked all these caves. Oh, he checked one of the caves. He did check that other cave before. He was right next to Hammer Cave, though, earlier on. Again, this is going to either be the Cross or the 8th Magic Container. The opposite being in P5. All right, easy Thunderbird for Para here. A little over 2 minutes after we walk into Great Palace, we've got Thunderbird down. Now we have to find Darklink. We've seen, what, maybe 7, 8 rooms at this point total? We could have anywhere between 24 to 48 rooms, something like that, or 28 to 48 rooms in this Great Palace. It is our 8th Magic Container in Hammer Cave there. So now Xarnax knows last available location to him is going to be P4. Feels kind of bad that you were in there earlier and you gambled on the item that was in there. Fairy block here for Para. Gonna have to take a death. So Xarnax still has to go back into 4, find the flute, walk all the way, make his way all the way back over to the west side of the eastern biome, open up Three-Eyed Rock, get into P5, find Gooma, kill Gooma, and then make his way all the way back to the maze and into GP. Para has a lot of time here to find Darklink. There will have to be some major mistakes made on Para's side. Although, I asked this question earlier, did Para not go into Darunia and get upstab? Because if that's the case, I'm not seeing an upstab from her on this waffle. So this could be a thing that stops Para. There could be upstab blocks that slow her down at some point. And Xarnax could potentially have the opportunity to make a comeback, but my god, is that slim at this point. And here's the item room for Xarnax. Wow, that item room was just in the one direction he didn't go at start that Para just happened to take. Okay, so flute for him. And he's going to be off to, unfortunately, it's a little bit of a walk here. He would have been better off just leaving P4, I think, going north through Paratroopa, hitting the maze bridge, hitting the raft tile, and being on the east side, instead of having to go this way through the volcano. Then again, he's probably got a lot of casts of Fairy, and this probably isn't too punishing, but I think it might have been a little bit quicker to just leave out of 4. All right, we got some more junctions here in P and GP. No upstab blocks just yet. Haven't even seen a downstab block. Already down a life and very low on health. That's 2 lives down at this point. Para on her final life. And unfortunately, this is the L7 drop room, so this is going to be a dead end from the top side. We're going to walk it back. There was a left just behind us here on Para's side. Could be a fairy or an enemy on the left side of this room. Oh, we're going to go up. I guess there was an up and right. Oh, no. Isn't this... Oh, did we come from the left side? I'm sorry. I only noticed when Para came down the elevator and then went right. So she must have come from the left side of downstairs and saw these two rights here. My bad. All right, we're into 5 on Xarnax's side. This is another dead end on Para's side. Whenever you see these floating bricks in this pattern, 100% a dead end, always and forever. So there must be a junction that's somewhat nearby because Para, on her final life, going to continue to walk it back. Really, if Xarnax can find Guma very quickly, he may be in GP before this is over. And again, if there's an upstab block that's going to stop Para, that's going to be detrimental to her routing overall here because Para does not know the upstab block skip tricks. Upstab block skip tricks, yeah. And especially if it's the one upstab block skip prevention room, then nobody's going to be skipping that one without upstab. And Xarnax does have upstab. We saw him pick that up quite a while ago. All right, Xarnax does not like that direction. It's possible he sees that as a loop or something. I have no idea if he's on the right path or not. I don't remember if Para was in this room with the Bago Bagos. It's entirely possible there are multiple ways to reach Guma, though, so... Yeah, Para... Nobody has jump in this one either, so any waffles, any rooms like this, Para taking a lot of damage here. Did get a life cast off. I'm not... was that 3 bars for life? Something like that? Unfortunately, a dead end in Xarnax's room. He's not gonna realize this. Okay, so we've got a left here on Para's side. Beating up the bird, but also pushing him back to the point where we need to be. And so the bird also getting extra hits in here. Wow. That's a lot of damage. We've got another junction here, and up and a left. We are just simply looking for Darklink at this point. All right, we've got a right here. Item room for Xarnax in 5 is going to be the cross. Magic refill for Para. Now, the funny thing is, we saw the item room in 5, I believe, on Para's side, so I think Xarnax might have been close to Guma. I'm not entirely sure on that, though. We did see another, I think 3 also had that down and left item room, so it's possible I may be confusing the two. Para into the lava there. -1 life. Kind of a tough room here. Going to ferry through it. Could be some more nonsense on the other side. The loss of frame rate tells me that there is more nonsense on the other side of this lava pit. Not too bad, though. Those beams didn't look like she was bodying anything unless she got a life cast in there as well. Bodying the birds does a ton more damage than taking hits from beams. That life 7 could just be doing very well as well. Alright, we've got just a pass-through room here. Xarnax, unfortunately, unable to god route this P5. This is going to be a dead end for him here. We've got a junction for Para, an up and a down elevator. I'm sorry, wrong room. It is a right and a down. My, do I even play this game? There's a fairy block down there. Xarnax trying once again to find Guma. And there's Darklink. That's going to be a GG for Para here in Game 1. Given everything that Para had seen already, it was pretty unlikely that Xarnax was going to be able to make a comeback other than potentially through an upstab block that would have stopped Para in her tracks. Not today, though. Two more hits, one more hit, and that is going to be a GG for Para, an official race time.gg race room time of 1 hour, 3 minutes, 13 seconds as the bot is spitting out there in chat. Xarnax not throwing in a towel immediately here. We'll see if he wants to try to finish this one out. He has seen the finish, though. I imagine Para will likely be in here for an interview. We have not gotten an answer on that just yet, though, as Xarnax walks into Guma's room. Yep, 1 gamble and 4 from Xarnax leaves him without the flute until the last available point in time. And it does cost him the race. And it does seem Para will be joining us. She is in the waiting room there. Guma down for Xarnax. Welcoming in Paratroopa, the winner of today's race. GG, Para. I don't know if we are on a push to talk. Not getting anything.
Sorry, I'm not getting voice. Give me a second.
Oh. Okay, she's not hearing us. We were able to hear her there, though. She's leaving. She'll be back. Xarnax going to walk it around to the open river side on the east side of the maze, and then just hit up the palace that way. Xarnax waiting for the experience to count up their lucky 7s across the board. Barrier up for him. Just kidding. Barrier up for him. 65, 42, 43, somewhere in there. Going to send a message in the race room real quick. I believe Para may be experiencing the same problem. Oh, she's back. Para, hello. Thank you.
Working now.
Perfect. GG, Para.
Yeah, GG.
What a jetty seed there. You were into GP at 52.30, something like that?
Yeah, around that.
And you still needed to get, I mean, we had a 3-eyed rock today. We had the hammer blocked, New Kasudo. Yeah, we had glove blocks and palaces, so everything was fairly free until that flute. And I will tell you that Xarnax was in 4 first, found Karak, did not see the item, and left. And then it was up to you to find the item in 4. When you were there, you found it before finding Karak, and it was the flute, and that was the answer. And yep, that's it. Xarnax had just walked into GP now. He checked everywhere else looking for the flute. He has the boots from Spec Rock, which opened up the water child, which was, I forget what it was, not the flute. And then he had a 50-50 P4 Hammer Cave. He went to Hammer Cave. He got himself the 8th magic container. And then even in P5, he got the item out of there, which was the cross. So he has pretty much full cleared this game, other than the child out of 2 and the candle out of 1. You skipped upstab. And is that correct? That's correct, right?
Yeah, I did skip upstab.
Okay. Darunia was right there by Old Kasudo in P2 and P5.
It was.
You were just playing the gamble game. I was I was the one in comms, so we is also I, but I was wondering if we were going to see an upstab block in GP that would have potentially sent you out to go get upstab again, and that would have given Xarnax a bit more time to close the gap, but he had a little bit of trouble finding Guma, whereas you seemingly God routed P5 for the most part. You found Guma pretty quickly. He did not, on the other hand. So you had a lot of time, even if there was an upstab block for you.
Yeah, let me see. So I would have gotten upstab in Darunia if not for the fact that there was that helpful raft connector that led to Maze Island. If that wasn't there, then I would have gotten upstab because it would have been a long trek back. But that made the trek quite a bit shorter, so I was like, okay, I feel a little bit more comfortable about this. I didn't really want to go into Darunia since I couldn't get jump because I didn't have the child. I was kind of worried about that too because I like having jump in GP, but it wasn't really necessary in this one. It would have been helpful like one room.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just decided to skip upstep. I was like, they're not usually required, and like I just don't want to go into Darunia just for that. So I decided not to, and it worked out. But it wouldn't have mattered, I guess. I could have gotten it and would have had enough time.
Yeah, I really hadn't considered that you could have just walked to the raft tile and then been right there by Darunia. I completely forgot about that.
It's still a little bit of a walk because Maze Island requires a couple of encounters, but yeah. It's not too bad.
But how did this one feel? All things considered here, given the start, given everything that was available, you cleared the West first for the most part, so you had some answers.
I right ordered everything in this seed, which felt really good. I felt pretty bad when I dug Maze Island early and both items were dead and the palace was GP. I was like, ooh, I wasted like quite a bit of time on this because it required like 5 Maze Island encounters or something stupid like that. I was like, but I've explored the rest of the West. I got the glove and I got a magic container out of it, so that was nice. And then when I got to New Kasuto, and that was where the any key was. I don't know if it was 5 or 6 magic containers to get in, but when I got in and it was the any key, I'm like, never mind, we're balling. Like, I got the magic container out of the West. So that had like a 50-50 chance of getting me any key. And from there, it just it just went great. Like, all the palace routing was really good today, which is good because most of my practice seeds have been really bad. But I don't think I got lost in like any of the palaces very seriously. I only lost time on a stupid game over where I forgot to reset my lives at a palace and went to Death Valley and died there.
Yes,
that was stupid. It didn't waste too much time, but it was just a total dead loss of time, which sucks. Other than that, everything went really well. I didn't have to go into Death Mountain because those weren't required, so I never went there. Flute. Getting the flute, I almost went back to 2 at first, but I was like, well, actually, I can get back to 4 pretty easily. So I should do that first because I haven't explored it. And that was where the flute was. I meta routed it. I was just like, I'll just go left instead of right. And I don't even know if that really matters, but like, I don't know. It just like I just felt like, let's take the long route just in case that leads to the item, and it did. So I got lucky. Apparently, there was a way to get to Carrick without going through the flute, which is unfortunate for Xarnax. But yeah.
Yeah. 2 things. First of all, to answer that question about whether it matters whether you go left or right to find the item, I don't believe it does. I don't believe that has any bearing on it. When you were using reconstructed palaces, I don't think it does. I wish I had an answer to that, but I think the answer
really
is it doesn't matter.
Either. It's just an old habit from although actually in 4 you wouldn't go left, you'd go right to find the item. But whatever. It's just one of those old things. Like, I'm just like, I'll just go left, and maybe that will lead to something. It just turned out to be correct. It was basically an arbitrary guess.
Yeah, I think that, like you say, it's an old thing, but I, as not an old player myself, also feel like I'm just going to go left to look for the item. But it really, you say that, it just really has no bearing on anything in reconstructed palaces, but it is something that we all got to do.
Yeah, I don't really know how many, I haven't really studied the item rooms to see how many more are left dead ends versus right dead ends versus not dead ends at all. And like, most of them actually aren't dead ends anymore, so it's just kind of like, but I mean, I think that maybe going left. I think the reason I feel like going left is better because you're more likely to run into the boss if you go right, and I didn't want to run into the boss right away. Although it's actually fine if I do because I need to fight the boss anyway, and then I could reset if I don't know. It's actually maybe not a good call. I don't know. Whatever. It worked this time.
You can't think too much about it because people will ask you that if you're streaming or something. You're like, well, I don't know, and then you try to answer the question exactly like you're trying to do now, and you're just like, well, you go in a big circle, and at the end of the circle, you start out saying it doesn't matter. You try to justify it. You end up at the end in the circle again saying, well, it doesn't really matter. So just pick a direction and go.
I mean, it's weird because there probably is a right answer to this question because, like, going right or left aren't the same thing. They are different. But I just don't know which is on the better odds of the coin flip of finding the item. You know what I mean? Like it's really hard to actually make a justification because there's so many different ways the houses could be laid out.
Right.
So I don't know. Whatever. I went left. I found the item. I was like, okay, well, I felt like we were in the lead at that point. I was feeling pretty good about this one. There were a lot of places in this seed where you could have gotten stuck. Either if you didn't get the any key because you didn't have enough magic containers in your first trip to New Kasuto, or if you didn't get... There were palaces where I just had the right route and got there immediately. If you had trouble finding the flute, that was going to be a problem. If you had trouble finding the glove, that was going to be a problem. Everything just kind of fell my way, and I was feeling pretty good going to GP. Although GP was a pretty nasty little piece of work. I would have liked to have more magic. And yeah, the second half of the palace after Thunderbird was tricky because I saw that the L7 drop room, and I was like, well, okay, going left is no longer a good proposition once I see that, because that confirms that there's a left dead end that probably just drops into itself, or maybe drops somewhere else, but like probably not a useful drop, right? There's a chance, but like, So I was like, okay, so I'm not going left anymore, but then I exhausted my right dead end, so I'm like, well, I guess I have to go left. So I restart because I'm out of lives, and I just can't like do anything else, and it actually turns out that going left just leads right to a junction that turns you right again. And there are a lot of tough rooms in GP. It was kind of a hard GP.
Yeah, so about the L7 room there, when it comes to reconstructing palaces, I'm almost positive that any sort of landing room that it wants to use, like a drop landing room, it will just... It doesn't have to be connected to a drop necessarily. It can just simply be used as a, quote, dead end, end quote, room. So just because there was a bottom side to that L7 doesn't mean it was actually connected to anything on the other side. It's kind of a weird thing to think about, but that doesn't mean that, because there's a few rooms that have two sides of them that are like from vanilla, and the randomizer doesn't always connect the other side just because it sees the one side as a dead end. That's all that it needs. And so it just uses that piece to construct it all.
Right. That makes sense.
Yeah. Well, yeah, Xarnax just walking into Darkling here, seeing him finish a little bit. We got a little bit of a future look in the race room here. His time is going to be 76:03. I'm sure he's going to join us here in just a moment. He is. I was just going to go into what he did, but now that he's going to be joining us, I'll wait a moment so I don't have to repeat myself.
I think he finished GP slightly faster than I did, but it was pretty close.
Yeah, you had, I think you up and 3 times in there.
3 times. I think just twice.
Just twice, okay.
The first time was because I took the wrong route to Thunderbird, and then the second time was because I ran out of lives.
Yeah, that's right.
I considered up-and-ing after I beat Thunderbird, but I decided not to. I decided to just go for it. And that ended up probably actually being the right call, because I think I probably would have run out of lives anyway. I probably would have had to reset anyway, so it's fine.
Yeah, but from your perspective, like you say, when you feel that you did a good job routing it, I would say you, at least to start, you did. Xarnax, he's in the waiting room, so I'll just wait a moment.
Okay.
Joined by Xarnax now. GG, Xarnax.
Hey, GG.
Thanks, GG, Para.
We were just about to talk about your side of things. Maybe you should walk us through the way that you feel that ended up playing out for you, at least up until looking for the flute, because that was unfortunate.
The backbreaker. Up until then, it felt great.
Well, the thing is, from your side, I guess I can kind of give a little bit of information here for both of you. Is that Para stayed west, got the glove, got a magic container. You went east early and got the hammer. Saw New Kasuto without enough magic containers. It was 6 to get into the basement, and without spell to get into the spell tower. So you got Fairy out of there, and you did get a magic container off of the desert tile, so you did have a castable fairy right out of the gate. So that was pretty good for Xarnax. He did have downstab way earlier than you did, Para. Mm-hmm. And that might have helped him kind of speed ahead just slightly. I would say overall, and I think it was because of your dig into Maze Island earlier, Para, that, like you say, you feel like you wasted a little bit of time there. Mm-hmm. And Xarnax didn't see that until later. He did have the raft out of 6, which was glove blocked. He didn't have the glove at the time, so he got the raft out of 6. Then he went up to the top side of the west, cleared out that stuff up there, hit the bridge to the maze. The raft was right there. Raft tile was right there. He hit the raft tile, then was on the other side of the east, cleared that out, and had Three-Eyed Rock information ahead of you. And so he knew the flute was going to be required, but then then tragedy hit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah. And the fact that I think we had a mismarked magic container cave on the west for you, Xarnax. Is this correct?
Yeah, I just forgot to mark it when I found the red jar or whatever. Yeah. So I couldn't remember if I had found it, and I didn't want to orphan it, so I had to go look for it again. Yeah, that wasted a bit of time. I wasted quite a bit of time in Death Mountain. The boots were helpful, but not necessary, I think.
I never got the boots. I never went to Death Mountain. That ended up saving time, I think.
For sure.
Yeah, given what we knew between both of you, it was coming down to 4, and I said 5 during comms, but that's a dumb thing to say because obviously 5 is under Three-Eyed Rock, so the item can't be there. So it was 4 and then Death Mountain and Water Tile. 4 Death Mountain and Water Tile. Yeah. And so it came down to those 4 locations. And we knew that the child was in 2 because Xarnax had gone into Darunia, gotten up stab, and gotten the hint for jump for the child there, and we knew it was in 2, although Xarnax did not backtrack into 2 to get the child. So we knew 2 was off the table at that point. But yeah, 4, Hammer Cave, Spec Rock, and Water Tile. Unfortunately, we did go into Death Mountain on Xarnax's side. We looked around a little bit for Hammer Cave. We missed it by a cave, and then we saw DX, we saw Spec Rock. Then we saw the boots. Then we were off to the Water Tile. That was something that obviously wasn't the flute. And then it was a 50-54, which you had already been in, and back to DM for the Hammer Cave, because you did even look around a little bit further into DM, unsuccessfully finding the Hammer Cave because it was just right there in the northwest corner the whole time. So, yeah, a lot of time spent there.
Yeah.
You had upstab. Para didn't. We were wondering if there was going to be an upstab block in GP. There wasn't. And that would have been something that could have saved you a little bit of time. P5 was much more kind to Para versus you. You saw several dead ends that you up and ate out of. And so it took you a while to find Guma. Para kind of breezed through 5 when she was in there.
I feel like that's been a theme for me throughout this tournament.
That 5 is no good.
Giving me fits every time.
We just need to burn it to the ground.
Yeah, I do think that I got pretty lucky at the flute location thinking about it, because I didn't have the child. I didn't take the child hint, so I didn't know. I didn't eliminate a location based on that. And if the flute was in Death Mountain, like, I knew that if the flute was in Death Mountain, I was in trouble, because Xarnax might have gone there. And I had no intention to. So if the flute was there, that could have been really scary. Or if the flute was on the Water Tile blocked by boots in Death Mountain, that could also be a problem. I kind of needed the flute to be in 4 or 2. And flute ended up being in 4, which was definitely the best case scenario for me, because I hadn't gotten there yet. And I was going to stay there and find the item no matter what, even if I didn't find it before Karok, but I did. And that ended up being really good for me.
Yeah,
I'm curious how much time I wasted after Karok, because I thought about, like, I'd spent the whole area where Karok was, I went back and cleared that out to make sure there weren't any dead ends, or to make sure the item wasn't deep in 4. But when I found all the dead ends, then I decided to leave instead of finishing the palace. And I don't remember how much unnecessary exploration I did after that, but it was significant.
Yeah, after Karok, you kind of walked it back to get a double level, it seemed like.
I was just looking for...
Okay.
I was looking for the item,
Okay,
I
because
wasn't.
you didn't place the gem and then you walked it out of there. You were close to a level. You did get the double level at the end of the day because you killed the wizards
Yeah.
worth 200 each.
I think I completely forgot that I could place the gem and then get the item and then up in A. It just didn't even occur to me at the moment.
It happens. It happens.
Yeah. So yeah, there's more time wasted walking back to the gym.
Yeah,
But yeah, the early game getting fairy spell, the hammer, finding new Kasuto, and having downstab all really early felt really good. And then yeah, once I knew the flute was required, things didn't feel as good anymore, and continually felt worse as I didn't find it.
Yeah, as I was saying to Mirai earlier, I wasted time doing an early dig of Maze Island because that ended up both items were dead and the palace was Great Palace, so I couldn't do it. So I was like, oh, this is a big waste of time because there were a bunch of encounters required to get there. But I got the glove on the west, which was good, and I got a magic container out of west, which got me the any key once I got to New Kasuto. And I was also able to take the spell out item there. Although that was just medicine life, but life was 5 bars. That was nice. But finding the any key there with maybe 6 magic containers required, which it was, felt really good. I was like, at that point, I'm like, okay, now we're doing well. And I felt a lot better about it after that. I don't know how things were going at that point though. It seems like the flexion point of this was the flute. And once I knew the flute was required, which I knew really late, because I didn't do the part of the east that was separated by Death Valley until the last thing. So once I got there, it was only 2 for Death Mountain and Water Tile left, and I was like, well, I can take the raft. I have the raft from 6, so I'll take that to go to 4, which is a little bit quicker than having to go through Death Valley again. So I was like, okay, I can get to 4 pretty easily. So I'll just do that first because it's the last palace I haven't cleared besides 5. And that was when I got the flute. And that was when I was like, okay, now I think I'm winning probably. But it was definitely up in the air up to that point.
Yeah, I guess something else that kind of helps you is you got the fire check early in the game. It was actually fire spell today. Xarnax, you did. Yeah, we saw the walk to the forest tile, and then you up and ate. I'm like, wait, what is happening? And then it occurred to me that you hadn't confirmed fire was spell, and that you were going to turn the trophy in for spell, and then go back to get the full clear. So
yeah, I thought about checking fire. I tried it several times, but never. I guess when there was a spellable enemy on the screen.
I did a stupid thing. I tried to confirm spell in a dark cave, or I confirmed fire in a dark cave, and it turned all the enemies into moos, and I was like, what just happened? I got like knocked around like 5 times. I'm like, okay, I think I cast spell, but like, what did I make? I can't even see it. They're just all these little dudes on the floor, and I didn't know.
Oh, that's awesome.
So I was like, okay, well, I think this is spell, but like, I don't know what happened. And then I went outside and I figured it out. But that actually ended up being a little bit helpful. I used it a couple times, just to get rid of some early kind of nasty rooms, and get the item in New Kasuto, which. Again, the item wasn't necessary, but it was good to have that check out of the way and not orphaned. So,
right.
It was definitely good.
Here's what I will say. When we went through the room in 6 that was glove block that had the stupid wolf heads or Mao heads in them, nobody used fire in that room, and you're both getting D- on your report card for that.
Yeah. Oh, well.
It was that room told both of you. You took 2 lives out of Para. You were still able to finish P6 on that final life, and it took 1 from Xarnax, and almost took a second one because you broke the block at the second half of the other half of the other side of the room. You broke the block and were able to ferry through without taking a lava bath there at the last spot. So that was nice, but yeah, a trolley room for sure.
Does spell get rid of bullets?
No.
I don't even. Okay, that's why I used thunder, because I was like, well, thunder clears the entire screen. I just messed up the execution of it the first time, and I took a lava bath. But Second time I got through it. I actually thought that house was 3, by the way. So I was like, oh man, if I fight Remonak here, I'm going to be in real trouble. And then I saw Barba's room. I'm like, okay, well, never mind. I don't have to take a hit with Barba. That's fine. But I was like, I think this is 3 because I just didn't see that many junctions.
Yeah,
so that was funny.
Yeah, Xarnax was in 3. You were in 6. We didn't know which was which until Xarnax walks into Rebo's room. We're like, okay, well, Para's in 6 then. So yeah, there were no windows anywhere to identify that.
I didn't see a single one.
Ah, weird. Yeah, there were windows in 3. I saw them.
Oh, in 3. Yeah, I guess I missed the windows in 3. I saw the boss though.
There were no windows in 6 that I saw. So I was definitely looking for them, but I really thought it was 3, just based on the fact that it didn't feel like it was going to be very long. But I just kind of found the boss room without. I was pretty happy about that because I was like, well, there were a lot of different ways you could have gone, I guess. That would have led like nowhere, but I just kind of routed to Barba right away. That was nice. A little bit scary because if I took like even one hit, I was dead, but got through it.
Yeah. So, other than that, I think we covered the seed from both perspectives all the way through. That's very thoroughly. Yes. We have a second race coming up on Tuesday evening, 7 p.m. Eastern. If that's going to stay on the schedule, that's when people can look to the next race happening. If there are no changes before then, if there are, of course, check out the Z2R Discord to see what's happening with that. Para looking to take game 2 and just sweep the series. Xarnax looking to make it 1-1 after that and force into game 3. So, any final thoughts here moving out of this one? I'll start with Para.
Nope. Next one should be a good one. Like I said, I think I got this could have gone either way, even though I was like 15 minutes ahead. The flute location, if it was somewhere else, this would have been different. So I'm not cocky about this. This could go either way in the next 2 races.
Xarnax, any final thoughts of tonight's race and anything moving forward?
Yeah, I mean, fairly the same. I felt pretty good about the way I played. It just, you just got to get a little bit lucky too. And I didn't today. Maybe I will on Tuesday. Maybe not. I guess we'll have to find out.
That's very true. You both played it as you saw it, and that's the best you can do. And yeah, we've covered this seed thoroughly from both of our perspectives. So, Crystal, Bellis, take us on out.
All right, thank you so much, Mariah, for commentating. I was like, man, this is weird, but it is really I enjoy some of the enemy names in this, so y'all got me there. Yeah, but GG to both of you. Good luck on your game 2 on Tuesday. Thank you, Mariah, for commentating, and thank you, VT Slacker, for tracking for us today. As mentioned, don't really have much coming up except on Tuesday for this Game 2 match. So just keep your eye out for any games. We have plenty of tournaments going on right now. But with that being said, we are going to raid over to the Zelda Speedruns main. They have a MMR Grand Finals going on right now. So we're about to have some fun there. But yeah, that being said, we can say our goodbyes and y'all have a good night. So goodbye, everybody.